So should you hire a water mitigation company when you have water damage? And are you going to file a water damage claim with your insurance company? Because if so, we're going to cover the pros and cons of hiring a water mitigation company, or if you should not hire a water mitigation company. There's a few different aspects of the claim that you need to know before you hire these type of companies. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So let me introduce myself. My name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. Public adjusters, if you're not familiar, represent people in their homeowner's insurance claim, whether that's any type of roof claim, wind damage, tornadoes, fires, water damage. Public adjusters represent the insured against their own insurance company. So let's briefly cover just some of the pros, and I'll get into a little bit more information on this. But some of the good things when you hire a water mitigation company is that they're going to be doing all the work when it comes to tearing out everything. And what's even most important, especially if you're going to file a claim, is that they're going to document everything, right? So why is that important? This is where I want to get a little bit more in depth about this. The reason why some people, and there are some guys that are handy, all right, that will start tearing everything out themselves. And that's bad because unless you've taken photographs, unless you've taken moisture readings, the insurance company can rightfully turn you down for anything that you've done because there's no evidence that there is water damage there. So you got to be careful before you start ripping something out, even if you're handy, even if you're a contractor, even if you have experience and you know how to rebuild houses or remodel stuff and you're just a handy man. um, Hold off on that because you're going to run into serious problems. So these water mitigation companies, one point is here that sometimes when people don't know where the water's at, when they start kind of opening walls or removing some cabinets, they may find where the water damage came from. There might be a source of a leak that they're able to find for you. And then you could call whoever it need be, a plumber or whatever the situation might be. The other part that's important, that's kind of one, is it will definitely help with their claim because the documentation they provide, they know how to do everything as far as what to take pictures of, how their machines are drying things out, um, if there happens to be mold at a later time. They have it documented that they did the proper things to try and minimize the mold. And so the third point is right here that's important. The main purpose also of a water mitigation company is to prevent further damage to your home. Because in every policy, you're supposed to mitigate your damages, meaning make sure that things don't get worse. So if you have a leak, you're not supposed to let it keep on leaking. You do whatever you need to do to either shut the water down or get it fixed. So these are some of the pros of hiring a water mitigation company. And I'm going to touch on it the next slide, but there's a money factor involved, a dollar factor involved, as far as not only how the big of the claim should be, but how they get paid. So some of the cons is they're not always needed. It's not necessary for every claim. And obviously, if it's under 10,000, you have to weigh it in your mind whether it's worth it or not. But generally speaking, those claims that are significantly greater than 10,000, then yeah, if you have multiple rooms, multiple areas, it's definitely going to be worthwhile. But if you have just a couple squares of drywall um, in one side of a room, one side of a wall in a room. It's not going to be worth it. So some of the cons are insurance companies constantly complain that their um, costs are higher and that they inflate their bill. There's kind of a cat and mouse game there between the insurance companies and the water mitigation. So when they do the work, they send the bill to the insurance company. The insurance company always wants to negotiate their bill down. So some companies say, well, we put in a little bit more because the insurance companies are going to negotiate our bill down. But this is a main complaint of the insurance companies. A lot of times, too, what happens is that they say they do certain work when they don't do certain work. And really, the insurance company doesn't know that, but homeowners sometimes complain of that. And in most states, like in Florida, they're supposed to send you a copy of the estimate or invoice that they sent the insurance company. So their contracts can be, how do I put this? But you need to pay attention to their contracts. A lot of times, what one of the workers may say is, oh, don't worry, we're going to get it from the insurance company. You won't have to pay us anything. It's not entirely true. Because if a cost is incurred, all right, you still may have to pay, even if the insurance company, you can't see it behind me, but denies or underpays your claim. You're still on the hook. So if there's some question as to whether or not this has been a slow leak, long-term leak, or whether it happens suddenly, you're going to have to determine whether or not you take that risk of having to pay a water mitigation company thousands of dollars or not. But the contracts also, you got to be careful because usually what they'll say, depending what state you live in Florida, I'll give you an example, that if the insurance company doesn't pay them in 60 days, they have a right to go after you for the money. So that's one thing you have to just be aware of. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. I try to do a video every week, but sometimes during the summer, it might be every 2 weeks. So let's wrap this up. The conclusion, you should call a water mitigation if you have substantial damage, mold, or contaminated water in more than one room. Unless that one room's the kitchen and your cabinets are compromised, then it will be worthwhile to call a water mitigation company. You never want to pay them your deductible. I don't care how many times they request it or if they say, no, we have to take your deductible. That is absolutely a bunch of malarkey. Do not pay your deductible to them. Let them get their money from the insurance company. Your insurance company will deduct the amount of your deductible at the time of whatever payment they make to you. All right? Just remember, if the insurance company denies your claim, you are still going to have to pay the water mitigation company. So you're going to want to carefully assess your claim first before hiring a water mitigation company. Has it been a sudden leak that just happened? Or has it been something there that's been long term? Now, if you say, well, wait a minute, I really don't know how long it's been there, it's going to fall underneath this long term category. So if you don't know that it was there and there's mold, the insurance company is going to consider it a long term leak, and you're going to have difficulty. Your first call is probably to a public adjuster. And then you want to find out who your insurance company is and a few other things. So these are just some some things that you need to think about as we wrap this video up. Thank you for watching this video. Again, my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in Florida. If you have any questions or need help with a claim, here's how you can get in touch with me. Thank you.